So it's another day. It's Thursday, 3rd or 4th, I don't fucking know. Of March. Beware of the Ides of March. December. I'm gonna use this as my background. Of course, I want to go far away. It's pretty loud. So this is our central sun. This is our logos. The one that ranks right above the sun. I don't know if anyone knows what that means, but I want to be there, and that's where we're going. Tell this story. I want to tell you a story. This story has to do with the reasons why. I'll get to that. But this is the story that I've had my whole life since I was a little kid. Since I was 5. When I was 5, I saw in my mind, I saw this broken ass robotical knight on a throne, and he was saying, I have failed, I have failed, I have failed, with a blinking red light, all battered and beat up. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Well, it ended up being prime evil. That's what I called him. Clearly there's an influence from having the Transformers. But still, it's still pretty early for me. Still had a lot of other influences going on. And I knew what prime meant. I knew he was the first evil. So this robot guy didn't used to be a robot. He's actually a scientist from Earth. And what happened in my story sort of is me. I figured this out along the way. I think everybody sort of has this. But I don't know, I think this one's very telling and time sealed for the times that we live in. So this robot was a scientist from Earth. Now keep in mind, this is a 5-year-old kid that already knew this. The scientist was approached by the gray aliens, and they said, hey, you broke the genetic code. We want you to help us. We have traveled the stars, we have traveled time, we have done everything. We can go no further. Which almost doesn't make any sense. They're like, the only way that we can go further is if you de-evolve us. We need to be turned into something more animal-like so that we can have the joy of life again. And in exchange, we'll give you our world. We'll give you our technology, the keys to the kingdom. This guy falls for it. Now, in this day and time, those of us who know, gray aliens can't fucking... They're sterile. Their race is dying. They're lying to him. They want to be hybridated. He goes to their world. He has a world. I mean, they've got worlds all over the place, but he ends up with this one world and their technology. And yeah, he starts to devolve them, kind of, with humans. He ends up with an orbital ship on this world that has all kinds of humans taken from Earth, frozen samples. And like most scientists, he didn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks or does. I mean, he's kind of like an evil scientist. And he plays with them. He builds him a nice floating castle so he can't be fucked with, stays in the background. And puts these people on this planet where he, tinkers with their abilities, lets them have power, some of them he don't. He doesn't really trust people, so he builds his own robotic army. He builds 4 sons. He has the first one, the smart one. It's Prime Time. Prime Time is smart. He's like his number 2. There's one, Lord Prime. He's real big, like very strong. He has another one with drills that drills into the ground and just pops the fuck up. That's a freaky bastard. And he's got another one. The baby is one that flies around and has these blades on his hands, and he can just fucking cut and open time and close time and just appear and disappear. So, and then various just robots that are like the army, the doers. So he separates the grays. He's manipulated, but one day something happens. The humans break one of his very special robot friend children, and this infuriates him. He's fucking pissed. So he's just gonna genocide the humans. They're on the world. They don't even know he's there. They don't know why these things are in the background watching them. They kill one. So there's like a jihad going on. He's sending waves and waves of robots to just kill these people. He's giving them powers though, playing with genetics. Some of them can do this, some of them can do that. What he doesn't count on is for them to have a linked consciousness and them to go into like world prayer mode and ask the earth to solve their problem, to assist. And when this happens, there's all kinds of planetary changes. Like the planet literally changes its orbit, putting his ass in the dark side and leaving the whole fertile country, beautiful land, in the light, and a manifestation of the planet's positive and negative qualities manifests, where there is a overlord and an underlord on both sides. Now, as the people started to migrate and flee, the overlord just, right at the barrier of the light, just destroys these robots. Prime doesn't know what the fuck. He doesn't know what the fuck he's got himself into. So that's the story. Now, along the way, there ends up being 4 warlords in the world. Prime is the one of air. He's a robot. He used to be a human. He ends up going full robot. It takes some time. I mean, he wasn't a robot at first himself, but as he got old, he just started switching his own self out. Even gets into a battle, has his head cut off, and has to go full robot. Like, there is no organic matter left. But he's the same guy. Same fucking prick scientist from planet Earth. All these people from Earth are there. They don't know what the fuck, what happened, how they got there. They don't know shit. There's really not any way to find out. You just don't know. Planet has a purple sky. A lot different. one side is now light, the other's dark, which can happen. That can happen, and it still be habitable. But of course, there's a lot of different other stuff goes on, because immediately I don't want to tell the story, but I think the story basically foretells of the time that we're in now. I mean, I know it. There's been names. I've got the map of the place. The names of the characters have shown up at certain times throughout time, and I maintain also that I'm holotropic, so I have an interesting relationship with time. I don't linearly perceive in the same way as most people do. I sort of perceive time from outside of time and back in a hologram. So we're in those times now. And we have this AI threat. We have this tyranny. But we have something else. We have our ability to create and choose. And it's still kind of intact, although it's being severely put to the gun, threatened as we speak. Now, I have some friends. It doesn't even seem like it, and I've had some weird phenomenon shit. I'm paranoid, but the last thing in the world I want is to be fooled or to harm someone else. Just want to have my own shot at life, have a nice partner, someone who's not a piece of shit, someone that has a little bit of integrity. And I want that for myself, because I've done shit I'm not proud of, but there's nothing wrong with me. I don't have any diseases. I'm not I'm about as solid single as I've been ever, and I feel good. So I'm just trying to do stuff to gently nudge the population awake. And I might even write my book. I'm not sure. But I wanted to share that because today's a new day. And why the fuck not?